No one wants to hire, young people because they're supposed to be lazy. But, by not hiring us, we look even more lazy.
How old are you, Zach?
I'm 17.
Right. Have you had a job?
I've got a job. I've had it since I was 16. I got it quite quickly, but I had to apply to maybe 70 places. It took me ages, absolutely ages, to even land an interview. And I got really, really lucky. I know so many people who have been applying since they were 16 and are still trying now.
And what's the job you do?
So it's like retail. I work at Next.
So you had to apply to 70 places before you got a job working in Next?
Not exactly 70, but just loads, absolutely loads, and didn't land a single interview. And the issue is as well, obviously, I do A-levels, so I have to balance my life around that. So I can't just go get a job, it's 30 hours, or they want me to work weekdays, because I can't do that.
Of course you can't. And that's why part-time work, or the sort of jobs that Simon was just talking about, is important. And he was saying, you heard him, Zach, I think he was saying that young people just sort of don't put the effort in to get those jobs anymore. But you have, and you did.
Exactly. And I think what annoys most people as well, so for me especially, so in the last 2 weeks, this woman joined, and she's maybe, I think she's in her 40s, and she gets paid, £12 something an hour. I'm making £8 an hour, yet she has to come to me to ask for help. She doesn't know what she's doing. And it's not based off experience, it's based off my age. It's ridiculous. I'm doing just as much work as her for less pay.
Because the law, and it is the law, the government says that you are less worthy than her because of your age. You can be legally paid a lower minimum wage, a much lower minimum wage, than somebody who's above the age, I think it's 18, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So I think it goes like, if you're 16, 17, you get, I think it's £7.50 something now.
It's just disgraceful. It's absolutely indefensible, that, Zach, isn't it?
It should be based off experience, not based on anything off of, age, because it doesn't make sense.
No, it makes no sense at all. How do you feel with this sort of, this narrative that's out there about you and your generation being work shy and lazy and layabouts and not wanting to do a job? You hear a lot of it. Does it wind you up?
It really does, because it's just not true. It's not true at all. Nothing's changed. I don't know why people think that just because time has moved on, people aren't lazy now. They're the exact same. But, the older generation has put health and safety limits on. They've created this, the whole health and safety sorry, I just said that already, didn't I?
No, but it's an important point. And Simon was making the same point, that the bureaucracy, the hoops you have to jump through now just to get a job. You used to walk in a shop and someone would say, actually, you're a bit short today. Can you stack these shelves? And now you've got to send about, 18-page CV and a 40,000-word cover letter and then go through 16 interviews just to be told, sorry, we've given it to somebody else.
I think I had to do a personal statement for Greg's that was like 1,000 words long. It was ridiculous. I was like, I'm not writing that.
So you had to do a personal statement to work in Greg's?
It's a word. I can't remember exactly Greg's or not. Greg's was a difficult process. I remember that to apply to. But there was one of the jobs which I had to write a personal statement to do. What
did they want you to write?
What could I write? I didn't have an experience.
It's long been my dream of working in Greg's, and here's I love a steak bake, but I also like honestly.
Exactly. I don't know what they wanted me to say.
No disrespect to these, but you don't need to write 1,000-word personal. It's not a 5-year degree that you're applying for. It's a Saturday job, right?
Got to be thick-skinned to go through what I went through. So when I was 14, my dad sent me to Ghana, and it was the worst time of my life.
Oh, no.
When I got there...
Hang on, don't jump ahead. Don't run ahead. Why did he send you there? Were you in trouble?
So nothing compared to the kids in this day and age. My dad's an old-school Ghanaian guy, so he expects excellence. He expects A-star grades. He expects you not to answer back. His saying in the house is, "You will see where power lies."
Good
That's
Lord.
my dad's saying.
Yes.
So he's old-school Ghanaian man. So I wasn't anything compared to my sister, who was an A-star kind of like nerdy student. I was a bit more naughty. I would answer back. I would be rude to him, and it wasn't something that he found acceptable.
Okay.
So he said, try go to Ghana. I'll send you to an international school. If you don't like it, you could come back. And he completely lied. When I got there, they started showing me around. Like, in all honesty, I'm a 14-year-old girl who's used to nice clothes, my nice things in the UK.
Yeah.
They're showing me around third world school schools. Like, all the children have shaved their heads. There's no toilet.
What?
I was like, no, what is this? So I was staying with one of my aunties. She's also quite elderly.
Right.
And she caught me smoking a cigarette. So she cussed me out and sent me to my dad's sister's, which is more of a middle, more of a ghetto area.
Right.
So I lived there for a while. They were trying to force me to go to school. Then one time I had a big argument with my dad. I said, I'm not staying here.
Your dad was back in Britain by now?
Yeah.
So you're on
I
the
was
phone to your dad, and you're refusing to go to school? You're refusing to go to school?
Yep.
Okay.
He's not letting me speak to my mum or my sister. I said, I want to come home. He said, I'm not coming back. So I got one bag and I went and I just started walking in the middle of Ghana.
What?
One lady, this is crazy, but one lady told me that there's a rich woman who lives in a particular place. If I expose it, people will know who I am. I'm sure I'm going to get some calls because people know this story to tell me to write a book. I started living with a madame. She owns a lot of property, businesses in Ghana, and she kept me. She actually paid off the police commissioner so that I could stay with her. My auntie wasn't allowed to come and claim me.
Well,
My dad had to speak to her.
Does madame mean the same as it means here?
She had ladies of the night.
Yeah, she ran brothels.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was just checking.
did.
I was just checking because you sound so casual. Okay.
She was running drugs. She was trafficking people.
Okay, well, don't give it. No, yeah, all right. No identifying details, all right? Because it's me that gets sued, not you.
Nothing extreme. But
okay.
Well,
I'm now worried about what she had in mind for you.
I didn't. She was really nice to me at first.
Yeah,
I got to stay in one of her mansions, and everything was good. My dad made an agreement that I had to go to school, and she told me, you know what? Don't worry, I'll pay everyone off. Go to school, and you don't even have to do anything. You're just going to hit the grades. I was like, yeah, this is great.
Wow.
Eventually, when she got more comfortable with me, she would force me to work in her restaurants, and she would make me wear certain clothes. I was constantly perved upon by older men, and I was only 14. I had to work inside the bar.
Yeah.
So I could go in, the details are actually quite deep.
Okay.
Eventually, to cut a long story short, I ended up acquiring a mobile. My sister was in university and she paid. One thing I'd done is hold on to my passport because my dad was not letting me back. I even went to the British Embassy with the help of an angel who was really kind to me, and I would call her Auntie Nurse. And I went to the British Embassy. My dad had already got to the embassy saying things about me.
Wow. But your sister got you home?
My sister basically used her student loan. She was a university student.
Oh, bless her.
She used her student loan. When I got back to her university, she went to East London University, I called my dad and said, hello, can you come and pick me up? And he said, oh, hello, and mentioned my sister's name. And I went, no, it's Kelly. And he went, how did you get back here? And that was the opening conversation of me being back in England. But I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I was constantly perved upon.
What a horrible story.
I didn't really, I didn't really get much education, but I was very smart. If it was another young lady, that lady could have been raped, abused. I'm quite a strong girl.
We know how that story ends.
Yeah, and I held on to my passport for dear life. Do you know what I mean?
This is an incredible story. I don't know how much light it sheds on this. Well, I mean, carry on if you want, but I presume your relationship with your dad was damaged.
Yeah, but even with my mum, because even as a mum, I'm stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you are a bit traumatised by it, I suspect, by the whole thing.
Yes, I am.
Because it is not right. You were a child. I mean, when we're 14, we think we've got all the answers, and you obviously had some of the answers, and you were tougher than they gave you credit for. But you were still a little girl, Kelly.
Yeah. It was hard. I think I really rate the woman I am.
Yeah,
because
good.
not many people would have survived that.
I think
not
you're right.
being able to speak to my mum for even a year
that's brutal.
Was really hard. And if it wasn't for my sister, I wouldn't have got back here. And I'm a great mum, and I'm a great woman.
So, of course you are. Are you still tight with your sister?
I would never do that to my daughter. My daughter's now in university studying law, and I would never. I couldn't imagine sending her to another country and not speaking to her for years.
Oh,
so it's really hard. But it wasn't great, and I don't think that's right that anyone should do that. It is trafficking, it is abuse.
That's incredible that you've managed to just not only share an extraordinary...
To be honest, I'm getting emotional.
I know you are. That's fine.
I laugh about it with my friends because I was literally so strong, and I got myself out of there like a real G.
You're allowed to be both. You're allowed to be both. You're allowed to be a real G, but you're also allowed to put your arms around 14-year-old Kelly and give her a cuddle and tell her that she's safe now. Tell her that she's all right. No one's going to hurt.
A lot of people do tell me to write a book because there's so much more to the story, James, but I would be talking to you for hours.
Well, you should write a book.
You know?
Seriously, that's an incredible story. I'd read it. I'm absolutely intrigued to know what else went on. And I mean, it is a tale of triumph.
But with the trauma as well, I've become more of a like when anything happens at school, when it happens with my children, because that's where I got in most trouble. Like just little things, or sometimes I would feel like they're blaming me, and my parents don't stick up for me. So anything that happens at my kids' school, they see me come in, they're like, "Oh my God, not this woman," because I'm not accepting it. I know the kind of children I've raised.
You're breaking the cycle, aren't you? You're protecting.
100%. I'm not going to let anyone take advantage, and I'm their biggest cheerleader, which is really important.
It's amazing that, because we talked a bit this hour about the shift in power and responsibility from parents to children, and one caller suggesting that children have too much. But if you're protecting children from exploitative adults... How can you ever argue that the children...
I do agree, though. Children in this day and age do have too much power. Like, there are some children making teachers cry, swearing to teachers.
As well. No, that's true as well.
But at the same time, we're not going to discard them, put them in a random country with no one to love or care for them, and anything could happen to them. Like, in that 2-year period, like, I always say to my mum, if we have an argument, I say, I'm telling you, Mum, if I had been raped or someone had done something to me, I would never speak to you again. It's only lucky that you sent the strong daughter. You sent the one that could cope, and did get through it. Like, anything could have happened to me. And
what does your mum say? What does your mum say?
My mum only apologises when we have arguments. My dad's never apologised because he's a very headstrong. Like, anyone who's Ghanaian will know an old school African father or uncle. They're very stubborn. It's very difficult for them to give you a hug or say sorry.
It's Victorian, actually. I mean, 19th century Victorian, 21st century Ghanaian, by the sounds of it, with an awful lot of crossover. Kelly, thank you for sharing that story.
LBC, so hopefully he's listening. He will know it's him.
It's not going to be a bit of a coincidence if there were two people who've been through what you've just described, but also props to your sister.
Reeves has mentioned the B word.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this, to be honest. It's an unpopular thing to say, an opinion, because the people that voted for it, they still can't admit that the hurt that they brought upon the country, but it needs now to be spoken about. The people that probably voted are probably the same people that think we should have a Trump-like person in charge of us. But tax has to go up because we hurt ourselves and we isolated ourselves. And you've had Brexit, which obviously has a massive impact.
So why were you waiting for her to say it, or why were you waiting for the government to say that this was in effect an error?
Because it's an elephant in a room. For the last however many years, no government, no party wanted to talk about it for fear of upsetting the in brackets 52%, because they're concerned, I guess, about what that means for them in the polls.
Yes, I think that's probably right. I think that's probably right, Ian.
But we're at the start, still at the start of a new government. It needs to be said. The truth needs to be spoken. And this is an unpopular opinion, Tom, but I've phoned into LBC before. And I've always said, do you know what? The 52% that voted should all put their hands up and take a higher tax code and pay for the damage. And I tell you what, you would not get 52% of the population put themselves up for that. Now, listen...
Ian, that is unpopular. Yes, I think that, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the truth. Now, I don't advocate for going back in now because we had the best deal when we were there, and we wouldn't have the same situation if we went back. So
hang on, so this is a catastrophic error for which people who voted for it should pay a higher tax code?
Absolutely.
And the remedy for it is not to undo that by by going back into the European Union?
Because you can't go back and have what we had in the first place. We probably now need to just move forward with it. But why should I pay more tax when I didn't ask for this?
Okay, well, I didn't vote for Labour. Ian, I didn't vote Labour, so I'm not going to be paying any of their taxes. Thanks.
No, okay, I take that point. But at the end of the day, what was called Project Fear all over the papers, it's Project Fact, isn't it?
Okay, but if we're going to have this, you pay more tax because you voted for something that hasn't worked out. I didn't vote for Labour, so I'm not paying any more. Thank you very much. I'm paying loads as it is. I don't want to pay any more. I didn't vote for it.
But leaving something so massive like the EU is not quite the same as voting in a different government for 5 years. And
the people who are elected to run the government is not a big deal. Of course it is.
Of course, yeah, it's a big deal, but that's not a 50, 60, 70 year undoing, of such a big arrangement, is it? Because if
in my view, it's a damn big deal who runs the country, and I didn't vote for this lot, so I don't want to pay any more tax.
No, maybe you didn't. You didn't vote for Brexit either.
No, I didn't. No, and that's what happens, isn't it? You are part of the body politic. You're part of the demos, and the demos votes together, and whatever the result, you've got to do it.
If I might take you through the kind of legality of this. So under the Safety of Sports Grounds Act 1975, the local authority of large stadiums consults with various parties, including the police, and then to issue the relevant safety certificate. And whilst there are safety concerns, given what happened in Amsterdam, where a mob went on a riot, a Jew hunt, which is what the Amsterdam court called it, yes, a blanket exclusion of all Maccabi Tel Aviv fans is not the least restrictive means of achieving that aim. There are less restrictive, equally effective measures that were available to Aston Villa, so such and a local authority, such as you could reduce the number of away fan allocations, maybe 500 instead of 2,000 seats. You can have enhanced segregation barriers, staggered entry and exit times, early kick-off to reduce, disruptive behaviour at night time. So these are all standard tools which were available under the Safety at Sports Grounds Green Guide, which regulators must consider before.
So you're saying this is wrong, just to clarify.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Okay, don't go, because I want to bring someone in to discuss it. You're in Watford. Kat is in Woodford. Kat, tell Katie why you think it is right to stop the game. Well, sorry, to stop the fans. I'm sorry, to stop the fans. Go ahead, Kat.
I think it's absolutely correct, and I think the police are trying to protect not only their local community, but also the Jewish community as well, because I was watching a report this morning about the behaviour of the fans in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And they were attacking the general public. They were chanting, they were singing about the death of children in Palestine, glorifying in it.
Well, let's bring Katie. I mean, I won't provide balance if Katie doesn't, because there was unfortunately incidents on both sides. Katie, what would you say to Kat?
So I think at football games there are always horrible chants. You just have to go to Arsenal or Tottenham and see that. But there's a very big difference.
Chant. That's glorifying the death of children. Let
me finish. But there's a real difference to throwing Israeli Jews into the canal. A WhatsApp group saying, "We know where they are. Go and get." And I quote from the court: "A dead Jew is better than a living Jew." And let's go on a Jew hunt. It wasn't just Israeli Maccabi fans they were hunting. There were mobs hunting Dutch Jews as well. And this actual decision contravenes the Equality Act.
I've seen no evidence of that whatsoever.
Well, look at the Amsterdam court document.
If you think it's okay it's equally bad for one group to glorify in the death of another group, then the same rules should apply to the Maccabi fans. Now, I think the police. We're all worried about the rise of violence in between various groups. And if you've got these ultra-nationalist type fans coming over, and let's just say they do cause trouble, that is going to increase anti-Semitism, all right? So I think they're doing the right thing to protect everybody.
Okay, Kat, let's get a quick response from Katie on that. Katie?
As I say, it was Dutch Jews as well. I mean, they talk about in the briefing, the Aston Villa, that they were wary of security outside the stadium and the ability to deal with protests. But there are thousands of people protesting on the streets of London every month, but also there will still be protests, let's be honest. You could ban all of Maccabi fans. There will still be people chanting outside that stadium because the players themselves are Israeli.
Let me just put one point.
But you don't think this is openly inflammatory?
Kat, can I just get on briefly? This is a victory for lawlessness.
How?
Because the police are accepting we can't control the situation. How on earth can the second city in this country concede they cannot control probably a few hundred football fans? It is
But
a
why
victory.
on earth would you
It's a
allow
victory
them
for
in?
And I'm sorry and I'm not going to bring Katie back in because that's not fair, but I have made my position. This is lawlessness 1, policing 0, Kat.
But why would you go out and openly invite people that you know are going to incite violence and go, yeah, all right, then come and traffic?
Because Galatasaray fans have a happy tradition of liking to make the slit throat gesture to opposing players. Red Star Belgrade fans are often involved in violent confrontations. I can take you through some other Bosnian football teams who sadly have a long and checkered history of violence. No one's suggesting they can't come and play in England.
Well, maybe we should.